All right. Welcome back to our second podcast.
Amém. Seja bem-vindo mais uma vez ao segundo episódio do Bryce and Tim Show. Muito
The
bom,
Bryce and Tim
do
Show.
Bryce and Tim Show. Então, ah, já que lançamos o primeiro episódio do podcast, a gente achou bem útil que a gente explica um pouco mais para que serve o podcast. Vocês vão treinando seu ouvido no inglês e vai precisar de conteúdo que vai vai fazer aquela ponte do Brasil para os Estados Unidos, você saber mais algumas coisas sobre a fala inglesa, da cultura americana. Então, nesse show, nesse podcast, a gente fala sobre essas coisas no inglês. A gente vai deixar a legenda aqui embaixo, em português, para você seguir, mas também treinar o ouvido em inglês, certo? Então, joga tudo para fora que você acha que já sabe sobre seu próprio idioma, português, ou outro que você já fala, porque aprendendo um novo idioma, você vai precisar de uma mente aberta, certo? So let's get started.
Exatamente. Então, joga fora tudo que você já sabe e pega a visão aqui na Bryce and Tim Show. Beleza, bora aí. Okay, guys. So today we have some things that we want to talk about with you. Right now it is lunchtime here in the United States. And it's a little bit different how we do it lunch here. I don't know, wouldn't you say, Tim?
Yeah, right now where I am in Arizona is 12:22 in the afternoon. And you normally for you in Brazil, you'll be eating a, a big old feast with your whole family, but it isn't very common for Americans to eat a big meal for lunch. A lot of times people are at work doing separate things or they're they want to eat something a little smaller. So for lunch, I'm having just this little bar that I've been eating,
A
a little
bar,
bit of
a bar of soap. What is that?
little it's a protein bar.
Have you been cussing? Did your mom give you that to wash your mouth?
No, despite what it may look like, this is not soap.
Oh, okay.
This is not a sabonete. No, é proteína. But we usually just eat something very small for lunch because the main meal of the day is dinner time.
Yes. So everything that you eat for lunch in Brazil, we eat for dinner. Well, minus the
Not
rice and
the
beans.
right, not the same foods that you typically eat in Brazil, but
But
the
the
quantity.
amount.
Yeah, the
Yes.
amount for dinner time.
So so yeah, it is a bit different here. Is that a thing though in Brazil? Like if your kid is falando besteira, they wash their mouth out with a bar of soap? I don't know if I ever saw that.
I've
I
never
don't
seen that. I think it's just an American practice.
So we might have to explain that joke then that I just made about the bar of soap. Like, did your mom give you that? So I'll explain it. So here in the United States, it's a thing for whenever you're growing up for your parents, if the way that they parent their children, one thing that they'll do whenever a child is using bad words, they will give that child a bar of soap and they say, wash your mouth out. And they make them put the soap in their mouth and just like kind of suck on it or something, just so that they get that bad taste or they clean their mouth. And it's not a figure of speech. That's something that parents here literally do is make their children eat soap after cursing, after their child like curse or say a cuss word or something like that. So whenever you say, why are you looking like that, Tim?
So no, I'm trying to research it right now. Uh,
Oh,
pesquisar, and I just got some weird results.
they do
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It just other strange things. It's just
Oh,
talking about how in Brazil everybody taking showers all the time after they use the restroom, after they get home, several showers every day.
yeah, yeah. I guess
That's a that's that's
that's not a
another
thing.
thing that Americans don't do, take as many showers.
Nearly as many. Like
Nearly as many.
if you take 2 showers a day, that's a lot. You're pushing it, right? You're you're like right on the edge. We're like, bro, that's weird. You shouldn't be taking that many
Yeah.
showers.
You
Uh,
can you can get away with taking 2 showers a day in the
yes,
United States, but if you take more than that, it's just strange.
it's very strange. So I usually take 2 showers a day. One like right in the morning when I wake up, and then one at night, right before I go to sleep. But the showers that Americans take as well aren't they're quick. It's like 10 minutes in the shower and you're done. Unlike the 30. I know guys in Brazil who would get in the shower and they'd be in there for like 50 minutes. They didn't even have any hot water. They just like the feeling of the cold water running on them. I don't know how they do it, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm for me, I take a shower at night because when you get home and you go to bed, you don't want to bring all of that dirt into your room with you. Got a shower, and I shower not exactly when I wake up, but after I get back from the gym. So in the first thing in the morning, I go to the gym and I come back. So I don't just take 2 showers in the morning. That's weird. So that's my schedule. Maybe you guys think that's crazy. A lot of you take showers because it's therapeutic. I understand. It's nice, but that's really weird in the U.S.
Yeah, that doesn't I guess we're just busy. We're busy here. We always have stuff to do, so we don't have time to go home and take a shower. Like our lunch, we don't sit and eat a big lunch. We don't take an hour and a half, 2 hours to eat lunch. It's like 20 minutes to eat. In the schools, like if you're a child going to an American school, you usually only have like 25 minutes for lunch to eat, and then that's it. We don't take a break. We're workers here. Everybody works. The culture is very fast. It's very okay, let's get it done. And then after 5 or 6 p.m., after the day is over, then that's whenever you go and you eat. So here it's like you eat a big breakfast, not super big, but like you take the time, you make eggs, bacon, you know, uh we have things that we call breakfast food, which also isn't very it's not whenever, at least in my time in Brazil, I didn't that wasn't the census. Like there was no specific food for breakfast. Did you ever pick up on that, Tim?
Yeah, everybody, even in Brazil, they are familiar with the traditional American breakfast food. Like, oh, you guys just eat eggs and bacon every single day in the morning. But there isn't like a certain food for breakfast in Brazil. I mean, a lot of times we were eating fruit while I lived there, just in the morning,
Right,
make
right.
something
Fruits.
simple. And I I made eggs in the morning, but not a lot of Brazilians did.
Yeah. Here, the stereotype is true. Eggs and bacon every single morning. And it's like very common. Or cereal. We have lots of cereals here.
Oh,
Um,
cereal. Cereal's crazy. I believe there's too much cereal in the
oh,
United States.
100%. Yeah, it's just all sugar. It's so
Yeah,
unhealthy for you.
super
Oh,
unhealthy and it's geared towards it's targeted at kids, children eating
yeah,
cereal every morning,
yeah.
which I don't is
So
not healthy.
So that's something that, yeah, could be better about the US is all of our unhealthy food. We have a lot of unhealthy processed food, and it's kind of difficult to buy the clean food, the healthy food, because believe it or not, all of the healthy food is actually more expensive than all of the junk food, the sweets, and
Yeah.
different things like that.
Well, I believe viewers in São Paulo have a similar sort of problem. It's harder to get access to fresh fruits, things like that. But where we lived in the Northeast, it was great because there were these fresh ingredients, fresh foods all the time, and you could buy them in like a local market really easy.
True, yeah. Yeah. A gente aprendeu a vida nordestinho, pô.
A vida nordestina. Pois é, que eu estava falando em inglês e que vocês que moram aí em São Paulo devem ter, que eu já escutei, dificuldades em conseguir frutas, verduras, da fonte muito rápida, ah, porque vocês moram num lugar bem industrial, que é difícil ter essas comidas, da fonte sem, ser processadas assim e sem modificação. Mas aonde a gente morou no Nordeste, em Natal e Paraíba, naquela região lá, foi muito fácil, foi muito gostoso a comida lá, por conta da facilidade em conseguir frutas, tudo que você podia imaginar. Tem maracujá, cerola, muito bom. Eu gostei muito do suco lá. The
Hum.
juice was very
Nossa,
good.
pô, bom demais,
Bom
pô.
demais.
Ah, tenho saudades. We, that's another thing too, is like fruits in Brazil, a lot of them we don't have it here. Like
Like
maracujá.
acerola, that's like impossible to find. There's another name for it here in the US, but it's so hard to get.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
hard.
A lot of the fruits you have to import, and then by the time they get here, it's only in like countries that are the closest to South America. So like California on the East Coast, and then Florida, like Miami area, Fort Lauderdale on the, or I guess, sorry, switch that. California on the West Coast, and then Florida on the East Coast. And we don't have the time. By the time those fruits are able to get transported to the rest of the United States, they would be bad already. They would expire. So you can't, a lot of the fruits that we have in the majority of the United States are just like strawberries, apples, um, oranges, things that last a little bit longer that you can transport, berries, different things like that, or
Yeah.
that grow here in this region.
Yeah. So that's probably why the easiest fruits to preserve are the most common fruits and juices in the United States. Everybody is familiar with apple juice and orange juice, but others aren't very common at all. Um, but I never seen anyone drink apple juice in Brazil. Apples are kind of more expensive down there, from what I remember.
Yes, apples and oranges.
Yeah, oranges.
I remember
Those
one
are hard.
time there was like a shortage in Natal of oranges, and I went to the store and I was like loading up on them, and then I look at the price and it was like 15 reais for one orange, and I was like, "What the heck? Like, am I holding gold right here? Like, why is it so expensive?" And so I went to the clerk, the cashier, and they told me, "Oh yeah, because we don't get a lot of those. Like, those are hard to find." Uh, in the Ainda na Nordeste, onde tá tudo like really easy to grow fruit. They just not did not have oranges there. So it was
Sim,
weird.
e uma dica pra vocês, que a gente já acabou de falar, tem dois lados, né, dos Estados Unidos. Tem uma parte que toca o mar Atlântico, Oceano Atlântico, e outro mar na esquerda, que toca o Oceano Pacífico. Então, ele usou as direções de bússola, que é oeste e leste, né? Então, só para vocês saberem umas novas palavras hoje, leste é east e oeste is west. Você consegue lembrar west ou oeste por ser bem parecido com a palavra por esquerda em inglês? West, left. Então, para mim é fácil lembrar. Ah, no meu lado esquerdo, em inglês é left. E também a direção da bússola, né, na esquerda é oeste. E no outro lado, você só vai ter que lembrar que é east, leste. Então, quando a gente fala de Califórnia, Califórnia fica no lado oeste dos Estados Unidos. E, e Flórida fica no lado leste, east.
Isso,
E
exatamente. E tem tem coisas que pode fazer com seu mouse, como West Coast.
West
Ah,
Coast. Pode
yeah.
ser uns sinais de gangue também, mas quem sabe? Tipo,
Pode ser, pode ser. Outra coisa, se vocês conheciam a cara chamada Kanye West, é sobre o nome dele. Então, West Coast, California, West Coast. Cool. Yeah, but it is strange. So the foods are very different, and the times that we eat are very different. So just a little backstory on me. Um, I worked in a churrascaria, right, in Florida, in Orlando. So there was I was the only gringo there. I was the only gringo that worked there, and it was just all Brazilians. And there was a lot of new Brazilians that would come in and they work there because they had just obtained their work visa. So they're brand new to the United States. They don't speak very much English, and they're here in the United States for the first time. A lot of them, because we would work throughout the day, right? And a lot of them would get really, really mixed up with the hours and just how much Americans work. And they would get, at first, it was very difficult and frustrating because we don't stop to eat lunch. And so we would work all through lunch, and they would sit there and complain. Ela estava reclamando a primeira semana que ela estava aqui nos Estados Unidos. Eles falou, eu tô com fome, eu fico com fome, algo assim. And it was very, very difficult for them to get over that because we don't stop to eat lunch. And so if you get hungry, then you need to a tip, uma dica para vocês quando vocês vêm para cá. Um, if you're going to go to work or you're going to go out for the day with American friends, then you need to eat breakfast before you leave the house because they're not going to stop what they're doing to go and take time to eat a big meal. That maybe you'll stop and go to a fast food place, and get something really quick, but it's not going to be arroz e feijão e tudo isso, so
yeah.
it
Well, I believe it's not as extreme as you make it to appear. There is a small pause for you to take a break at work, usually for like a little lunch break. Uma pausa só para comer um lanche, mas no trabalho, comer um almoço muito grande, como tá acostumado, em casa, com a família, ah, é, é- é- não é tão grande assim a quantidade de comida. So, yeah, there are many jobs where you work 9 a.m., 5 to 5 p.m. with a small little pause to
É
eat
tipo
lunch.
30 minutos, algo assim.
Yeah. And we don't want to waste time when we go out to do something on eating. We'd rather be working on other things. Like you said, usually we want something fast. That's why fast food exists because Americans are impatient. They wa- they want things immediately, na hora. And
E
you'll even
uma outra coisa, fast food não é uma coisa chique aqui. it's,
yeah.
it's Burger King is like super cheap, like barato demais. Quase like gross almost, you know? And so it's not seen as something like, oh, let's vamos a McDonald's. I can't even say McDonald's in Portuguese, like how with Brazilian accent. But it's like it's the last resort. It's like I'm hungry right now. What's cheap and what is fast? Oh, McDonald's, Burger King. Okay, let's go. We'll just get it out of the way and then we can move on, you know.
Yes. Yeah. So, um, it's not something so glorified as I've seen in Brazil. There are exclusively fast food places in like bigger cities at the mall where it's a something really nice and high end, high quality. But fast food was created in the US to be something quick, cheap, easy, and it doesn't have to taste that good. But
Yeah.
obviously, over time, they've made it taste really good. But it's really high in these sugars, and it's not very good for you, for your health. Um, but you'll see a fast food place in almost every town in America, even if it's being rural. Uh, Como vocês falam no interior, sempre vai ter um local de fast food. E uma dica, quando eu falo uma palavra que tem origem de inglês, eu tento não colocar o sotaque brasileiro enquanto eu estou falando português, uma palavra inglesa, porque vocês podem estar treinando essa palavra errado na sua mente, né? Se você aprende errado, pratica errado, você vai chegar para ter uma conversa com um americano e falar errado. Então, em vez de falar coisas tipo fast food, esse sotaque brasileiro, escute bem como a gente fala aqui. Por isso você está escutando esse podcast, treinando seu ouvido. E a forma certa é fast food. Fast food. Não com esse estresse no T, no D, com T, de fast food. Não, fast food.
Yeah, fast food, fast.
Fast.
It's very fast here. You're not going to find fast food places, like he said, inside of a mall or um, it, it's just not, it's hard to explain just how different it is. But like Tim said, imagine you go and you travel into, okay, let's say você está morando na cidade de São Paulo. São Paulo, né? Mas sua avós moram na interior do São Paulo. Então, você está viajando para visitar seus avós. And then you arrive in their tiny city and there's a McDonald's. That is the United States. In every single city, there is some fast food. There's at least a McDonald's or a Burger King or something like that. So
And it's really common. You're driving down the highway, a estrada, o BR que vocês falam. You're driving down this big highway, and there are fast food places along the side of the road on the exits, nas saídas da estrada do BR, você vai encontrar sempre locais de fast food, porque é muito fácil chamar sua atenção lá para tirar uma pausa bem breve, a quick a quick pause, a quick break to eat, and then keep going on your trip.
To go through the drive-through.
The drive-through, the drive-through.
Now, drive-through. I don't. How do they say it?
They say drive drive-through, eu acho, com F.
Não, sim, é a mesma coisa, mas como sotaque brasileiro é como
É
drive-through. Não sei.
through,
Não me lembro.
drive-through. Yeah. So this sound doesn't exist in Portuguese. Uh, you'll have to train your mouth, treinar sua boca foneticamente para criar novos sons que você não conhece em português, que existem em inglês, como o TH. Eu sei que é difícil o TH, mas ao treinar você vai conseguir. Drive-through, through, onde a ponta da língua fica entre os
Sim.
dentes aqui.
Parece muito como um F, mas não é. Muito brasileiro, quando eles chegam aqui e ele está tentando para pronunciar da TH, eles falam muito como um F, como drive-through. E, it might be something that you might not notice as a Brazilian learning English, but Americans notice, and Americans are very quick to try and correct you with how you speak. And I don't know why that is, but we just do. And so if you're talking to somebody, don't get offended if you're having trouble pronouncing something and they try and help you and correct you right there. Because it's not something that's mean. They just want to help you, but it can come off as mean. And parece muito chateado, né? Like, I don't know why, but we just that's something that Americans will do with foreigners is correct your pronunciation whenever you're trying to. So if that is something that you feel like will annoy you or will make you mad, try and master the pronunciation of the words. And that sound specifically is something that is very difficult for Brazilians. So if you can just perfect the TH sound, then that will put you 20 steps ahead of everybody else trying to learn English.
Yes, I completely agree. That is why in our community, in our language course, Ganhar com Inglês, every class is designed to help you train first phonetically, uh, o padrão fonético, so that you can practice and obtain muscle memory of how that word should feel in your mouth when you speak it in English. And then after you know how that word should feel, how it should sound, then you start practicing in certain situations, in certain conversations, talking about certain topics. So you'll see all of that on the community Ganhar com Inglês.
I want to change the topic of conversation a little bit. And I want to drop this bomb on you guys that we do not use WhatsApp. What?
What is crazy? Americans do
Yeah.
not use WhatsApp whatsoever.
Não pode pedir comida. Oh, what's up? We just don't use it, and nobody here uses it.
I don't know why or why the US has never wanted to or picked up on that, but nobody uses WhatsApp here. Um, but there are several other forms of communications that we use. But many times I saw people ordering food from restaurants on WhatsApp. We usually just open up the restaurant website or just call them and they'll deliver the food or use an app like Uber Eats, DoorDash, which is the equivalent of iFood
iFood. iFood.
that iFuji, yeah, that they use in Brazil, iFood, but WhatsApp doesn't exist. But inversely, I I've definitely noticed that Brazilians don't really use Snapchat that often. There aren't a lot of people who use it.
Yes, there aren't. I have some Brazilian friends. Uh, well, like whenever I was working in the churrascaria, I opened Snapchat because I use Snapchat to communicate with all of my friends. Everybody seems all the younger generation. So anybody like 30 years old and younger uses Snapchat. And I opened it up around them and they were saying like, nossa, meu filho, você tá usando o Snapchat? Isso é muito antigo. Like they said that it was popular in Brazil when it first came out, but it never really caught on and everybody just stopped using it. So what was that, like 14 years ago or something, whenever Snapchat first came out, that people tried it, but it just never really caught on. And WhatsApp was coming or out around that same time, and everybody was using that. And so, yeah, we use Snapchat a lot. The younger generation uses it. We do not use WhatsApp. So whenever you text, we just use the regular messenger um like
Uh,
text, the
yeah,
app that comes on your phone. Like,
I,
so if you have iPhone, it's iMessage, and if you have an Android, it's um just the text app or something. So you text with your
yeah,
phone number.
they usually call it by the SMS. They say SMS.
I think
Mandou
so.
pelo SMS. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we use that normally just for texting people with the phone service, iMessage, normal text. In my opinion, there are so many ways to communicate, so many social media things you can do that it's better just to stick to one because we've gotten to a point basically where they all kind of do the same thing. You can send images. You can send images that will only appear one time. You can post on your story. Every single app now has their own version of stories, status. Um, it's all kind of turning into the same thing, which is which is a little crazy. Like nobody has their own sort of niche
Except for Twitter. Twitter's still pretty
product.
unique.
Twitter is pretty unique.
Yeah,
The
but
format of just posting short, like one sentence comments on Twitter,
mhm,
it's unique.
yeah. So the social medias that Americans use are going to be Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Pretty much.
Now rank those five from like oldest audience to youngest audience.
Ooh, Facebook oldest for sure. So Facebook has the old people. Oh, that's a nice thumbs up. I don't know how that happened. Um, and then I would say Instagram probably is the second lineup. Instagram and Twitter are probably both like right with each other. And
I'd say
then
that there's an older audience on Twitter than there is on Instagram.
maybe so, but I mean, like Instagram is kind of becoming Facebook. Like everybody has Instagram.
Yeah.
At least just an account. Maybe not everybody uses it or is active,
Yeah.
but yeah, Twitter. I mean, Twitter and Instagram. Okay, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then it's weird because TikTok is becoming something that the older generation is starting to use. Like my uncle quotes TikTok videos all the time. But he's on like conspiracy talk. So all of his videos are saying, oh, the moon landing was fake, 9/11 was an inside job, all these other different things. And so he comes up and is like, yeah, I saw it. He calls it truth talk because that's where you get the truth because all the news is fake, yada, 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 whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Conspiracy theorists. But yeah, so a lot more older people are starting to use TikTok, but it's still a very young app. A lot of young people use it. And then I would say Snapchat is probably where the youngest generation uses it.
So depending, I guess, on your age group, whoever is listening to this, when you come to the United States, decide which of or all of them if you want to use all of them and waste a lot of time on social media. Choose which ones you like the best. Obviously, Instagram is going to be the easiest since everyone in Brazil also has Instagram.
Right. But if you're gonna use them, just make sure to follow Bryce
Yeah.
and Tim on every single one of those accounts. And
Yes.
yeah, and you'll be just fine.
Earlier we
Yeah.
were talking about the time, lunchtime, dinner time, kind of how our schedules work in that sense. But the clock in itself is has a little bit different language than it does in Brazil. Usually in writing, people will use the 24-hour method, 0 to 24. Like when you send someone a message on WhatsApp in Brazil, you'll say, "Oh, são 16 horas," which means 4 in the afternoon, quatro da tarde. But in in the United States, there's a system. Anything before 12 is AM, and anything after 12 is PM. What would be a good example of that?
Um, well, I mean, just like, sometimes whenever you're referring to the time in Brazil, you would, if it's at night, you would say, vai ser às 6 horas, you know, whenever you're really meaning like daisy 6 horas, but you just pick up on
19, 19.
daisy 9.
7 horas da noite é 19
Não,
horas.
6 p.m. 6 horas. Eu falei 6.
Oh, oh, é 18 horas.
Eu falei quê?
16, eu acho.
Oh, okay, yeah, probably. Oops. See, Americans don't even know because we don't use it. We
We
don't
don't
use
use
military time.
military.
That's what we call is military time because here only the military uses that time set. But if you want to say, it's going to be at 8 p.m. and you want to make sure that people don't show up to the event in the morning at 8 a.m., you just say 8 at night, or like it'll be at 8 o'clock tomorrow night or something like that. So you just add like at night or in the morning. And that's how a lot of people will communicate. And you can also say, let's meet at 7 a.m., but that's not that formal, or that's very formal. It's not that common to say, let's meet at 7 a.m. That's very formal, and it's just like kind of a weird way to say it. You won't, if you do have American friends, they're not going to say something like that. They'll say, let's be there at 7 in the morning to clarify what time period that they're talking about. So the way the clock works, it's 1 to 12, and then once you restart, it just goes back to 1. So it's 12 a.m. and this is like right the very, very start of the day. And then you go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way back to 12 p.m. And 12 p.m. is meio-dia, the middle of the day. And then it restarts and it'll go to 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and just keep going until 12 a.m. the next day.
Okay. So for them to fully understand, I'm going to give you a scenario and you tell me just naturally which way you would say it. Então, vamos dizer que você vai sair com uma menina, você vai buscar ela e você diz para ela o horário que você vai buscar ela. O que você diria em inglês?
Hey, I'm gonna pick you up at 7 tomorrow night. Or
Yeah.
a maioria das vezes, quando você tá saindo com uma menina, vai ser na noite.
É, vai
Então,
ser na noite. Você nem tem que dizer, tipo, hey, I'll pick you up at 7.
isso, porque, like, context clues. Você tem que buscar o contexto.
Contexto. Yeah.
Contexto, desculpa. Aprendi a falar nordestino, eles não sabem falar certo lá também. Então, foi mal. Okay, so
Tem muitos
yes.
nordestinos que estão assistindo esse canal no YouTube.
Eles sabem, então. Bro, it's true, man. And no offense to, people that live in the Nordeste, but that's just the way, like, you guys don't speak formally. You don't speak how it should be. And there's lots of places in the United States that don't speak formally, that don't speak how your English teachers in Brazil teach you how it should be spoken. And so that's why we're doing this, is because I guarantee you have a friend who has come to the United States and they complain that Americans don't speak right. Americans don't,
Yeah.
it's not the same. They say all the words wrong. Yes, we do. Just like you guys say all the words wrong. We don't talk how they talk in the textbook. We talk in a very, different way. And that's how we communicate. And if you speak differently, if you speak formally or the way that you learned, then you're going to be the weird one. People are not going
Yeah.
to understand you. So it's not so much learn how to communicate formally, it's learn how to communicate in the way that the people communicate.
Right. Something like you were just saying, Bryce, that we tell people all the time. Learning a language is a human skill that you need to learn by speaking first, rather than the rules that we invented on top of the language that'll just slow your progress in trying to communicate through speech. So the best way, like we were just talking about, learn by speaking, by listening to people, even if they say it wrong, even if they go against their own rules. You will learn to be fluent and communicate in the way they know how to speak. Like you said, no offense to anyone who speaks incorrectly the language or doesn't follow all the rules, but it makes sense to them. And you're going to have to learn to speak their language. So why follow all these rules that people invented that are just going to confuse you and the other people?
Yeah, exactly. So one of those things that Americans do, and any English speaker actually, is we create vowels all the time. We create action words.
Yeah.
Like we just add ing at the end of a word, and it's an act of what we are currently doing. It's a description of what we are currently doing. So if I get in the Uber, um, se eu vou para pegar um Uber e uma amiga me chama nesse momento, uh, he'll say, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'll just respond and I'll say, "I'm Ubering right now." Or he'll ask, "Are you coming? Are you coming to like my house? Are you coming to the party, whatever?" And you'll say, "Yeah, I'm Ubering there right now." Like it's not a real word. It's just a made up word. And that's with literally everything. You'll find that out very quickly that Americans just add ing at the end of a word and make it a action word, a vowel.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we'll take any sort of noun, where we are, or what we're using, an object, whatever, and we'll describe it as the action we're doing. Um, and it's not even used as a joke, but you could use it with like your job. Somebody asks you what you're doing in the moment. Let's say you're a guy who who drives trucks, say caminhoneiro. Um, you're a trucker. Oh, I'm trucking right now. I'm trucking because he's driving his truck. Um, and the funny thing is that when people speak the same word that doesn't exist, eventually it gets put into the dictionary and it becomes a real word. So by now, trucking is probably a real word just because of how much people have said it, have used it. But you can take anything and turn it into a verb. I have my water bottle right here. And let's say I want to go fill up all of my water bottles that I have. I'm bottling. I'm
Bottling.
bottling all of them.
Oh, yeah. I said vowel. I meant to say verb. Sorry. Um,
Verb. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
verb. I kept calling it a vowel. Okay. My bad. But you get the point. So yeah, I'm bottling. And if he tells me I'm bottling right now, in my head, I understand what he's saying, even though that really makes no sense at all. I understand he's bottling. Oh, water bottles, filling up with water, bottling. Okay, he must have multiple water bottles. And this isn't something, if you, because this is very confusing. This is a little bit of a complex um, s- topic. So if you're confused about anything, like if he tells me I'm bottling right now, because he's literally making up words. So if he says that and I'm confused, I can ask, "What do you mean? Bottling? What?" And he tells me, "Yeah, I'm filling up my water bottles." Oh, okay, bottling. And after that, that's a new word that you and that friend will probably use in the future. And it's just a part of your vocabulary now. And so there's a lot of inside jokes, that will come out of that, just that ability or that accessibility in the English language to just make up words. You'll see a lot of friends or like family members, whenever you're with them for the first time, they'll say something weird and you'll be like, "What does that mean?" And they'll say, "Oh, in our family, that means, you know, this because this one time he said, whatever, like
Yeah.
fracking." I think fracking is a word in that in my family it's spoken and people just understand it, but it's not a real word like fracking. But really that just means like messing around or um doing, just not being productive, just, wasting time. Oh, he's fracking right now.
Yeah. Well, a word that comes to my mind, in my family, we're big fans of going to amusement parks, and my mom will say stuff like, "Oh, we're parking right now." But there are the word parking exists. Tipo, parking é quando você vai estacionar o carro, o verbo. Estou estacionando, parking. But parking, ela quer dizer o parque, tipo, de diversão. Estamos no parque, a gente está desfrutando o parque. We are parking. We're doing the act of going to the amusement park, parking. So that's what she wants to say. So using this spoken uh, language, there's just a lot of slangs, gírias that will blow up in the whole country when something gets popular. Like rizzing, that's not a word, but it's a popular slang right now.
Riz, yes, yes. And
Riz.
rizzing isn't even the word. It's
Yeah.
the gíria, the slang is riz, right? And riz is short for charisma. Então, você tem que ter carisma para pegar uma mulher. Então, eles cortam a palavra charisma ao riz. And so you have riz, but then we take the slang and we add the ing rule into rizzing and we create a new verb. And rizzing is the act of speaking to a woman and saying things and acting in a way to make her like you. And so there's, things that get created, just words that get created all the time. And if if you only understand the by the book rules, it's something that you're never going to understand. But
Yeah.
if you understand how to speak and communicate with people, then all of these words that you won't find in the dictionary, you will understand.
Yeah. If you can understand the subject of a certain conversation, the context, then you'll be able to catch on, understand these made up words. It's all just a question of whether you're understanding the context or not.
Correct. Correct. So yeah, I guess that's something that you guys can write down is Riz, Rizz. Um, and that's the way that people say that is, oh, he's got Riz, or go Riz her right now, you know, by te pegar ela, or go Riz her up.
Riz
So,
her up.
riz her up. Or you say, I'm gonna go riz her up. Eh, yeah,
Que
that's
basicamente quer dizer, ah, pô, eu vou tentar pegar ela. Eu
mhm,
vou. I'm gonna go riz her up, man. Eu vou usar. Eu vou ser um cara bem carismático e usar meu riz pra tentar pegar ela. É muito
mhm,
engraçado, se parar pra pensar.
yeah. And that's something that Tim has a lot of is riz. Então, cuidado com sua mulher.
Então, gente, foi uma conversa excelente. A gente falou de muitas coisas para você se preparar para a sua primeira viagem aos Estados Unidos. Se você chegar aqui um dia, esteja ciente, né, das coisas que a gente falou, dos horários, como é que fala do AM, PM, tarde, noite, né? E preste bastante atenção no contexto das conversas. Aí você vai pegar rapidinho do que as pessoas estão falando. E muito obrigado por estar aqui conosco hoje. por treinar seu ouvido na fala de inglês. E é muito importante que use essas informações para ajudar vocês mesmos e ajudar seus amigos a um dia falar inglês fluentemente com os americanos e abre aquelas oportunidades na sua vida para o sucesso. Então, muito obrigado e até o próximo.
Até o próximo. Tchau, gente. Valeu.
Tchau.